This is the Bottom Line Sports Show with Gerald Brown and Rick Mahorn.
Imagine you trade a Chet Holmgren for a Giannis Antetokounmpo.
These guys are athletic as you know what, and you go like, oh my gosh, where's the fundamentals? Where's the pass first mentality? That's not in the league anymore.
And now here's your host, Gerald Brown and Rick Mahorn.
What's up, everybody? Gerald Brown, flying solo, Rick Mahorn. He's doing the big three, coaching and stuff, but you know what? It's always a pleasure. Let's waste no time because this is an individual that, you know what? There's one word that has to be associated with his name, and that is legend. I don't even think it's fair to call him a hip-hop legend because he's a musical icon. He's an individual that can dibble and dabble in all types of genres of music. So to put him in a box is something I refuse to do. The legendary, the one and only New York sports fan, icon. He's a sports fan for New York. He reps it through and through. The legendary, one and only Mr. Pete Rock joining me. Pete Rock, what's good, baby?
Peace, my boy. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. And we got to give you your flowers because
thank you.
First and foremost, happy Father's Day. Happy birthday, man.
Thank you so much, boss. Thank you.
And I guess I got to ask you, outside of family and kids,
yes,
this NBA championship, how much of a birthday, or better yet, a gift, how much sweeter was this to happen so close to your birthday?
Oh my God. I mean, it felt really unreal, bro. It felt like this can't be real. I'm celebrating three times, like Father's Day, my birthday, and the Knicks championship win. That was the biggest. And when the playoffs started, I just stopped doing everything and just focused on the Knicks.
Yes.
And I'm glad I did that because I felt like, you know, me tuning in with the team kind of like, you know, I guess help them. I don't know. I think our fan base helps them win.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's obvious because you had some, you know, epic wins in this whole playoff run.
Man.
I want to go back because, you know, the interesting thing is when you talked about, you know, there were so many people that shed tears. And I was one where I think a lot of people from what I've talked to, they've shed tears, but it was like, you know, I couldn't believe it. But there is a reason people shed tears because it's been 53 years. And it's been years of so close, but yet so far, a lot of disappointment. If it wasn't on the court, it was injuries that happened.
We would have bought people's jokes. It was
it was a lot. When you go back to that moment, if you will, and when the playoffs first started, when did you know that this Knicks team could potentially have a chance to win a championship?
Game 4. Game 4, I cried. Now, and the emotion just came out of nowhere. It just bust out. I had no idea, you know, like that I would react that way for Game 4. But when I seen how the crowd was reacting, when I seen the fans screaming like that, and then the tip in when Jalen missed, the emotions just poured out. I just dropped to my knees, man. I don't know why I start crying, but I did.
Wow.
And I said, damn, we one game away. And so, you know, that was it. I cried till I, you know, got through the emotion and then got ready for Game 5.
Wow. You know, when we go back in history and look at this, it's obviously going to be a space where people say, where were you when the Knicks won the championship? And the interesting thing is, talk about that moment when the clock hit zero. Because I had Patrick Ewing on a couple weeks back, and Patrick talked about, you know, when that clock hit zero, what was that moment like for you? And what was the first thing that came to mind for you when the clock hit zero and the Knicks were NBA champions?
more and more and more emotion. Now, this time I cried in my wife's arms. I cried and my friends grabbed each other and hugged each other, and we sobbed. And then I left and went in the room and closed the door and just put my head in the pillow and said, am I dreaming?
Wow. Wow.
I swear to God, that's what I did.
Wow.
And for a couple of days, I didn't believe it.
Right.
You know, it didn't hit me until I went to that parade.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. You know, what's interesting is the fact is that when it happened, it was the moment, you know, when they won it. Because even when they came back and won game 4, like I had turned the TV off. I was watching it with my 83-year-old mother. And we just said, you know what? It's not the night. And I said, oh my goodness, here we go again, because they're going to come back to New York, tied up 2-2. It's going to be so much pressure on them, New York. And if they happen to lose that game and they have to go back to San Antonio to face a closeout, it's going to be tough. But the thing is, I still didn't want to believe they had a shot until the clock hit 0-0-0. But when that moment happened, Pete, I tell you, man, I thought about the guys like I've had on this show since this Knicks run, Trent Tucker. I've had Charles Oakley.
Oh my goodness.
And the videos are up there. I've had Kenny Skywalker. I've had the guys that in some way, shape, form, or fashion, Rod Strickland as well.
Yep, Rod, my man.
Yeah, I went back and thought about those guys that unfortunately they came up short. You know, Charles Oakley as well.
They were great players, though.
Great players. And you know the thing that Pete, that Patrick Ewing and I talked about, and it came up, it just wasn't the time, you know. And
but you know how frustrating that is when you got a team full of great players and we don't win it?
Right.
That frustrated me the most. And I struggled through that.
Right.
Like, damn, how could Charles miss that right under the basket? How could Ewing miss that layup in the finals? We would have won. It was just too much, man. It was too much.
Yeah. And then, you know, the parade, the idea, talk about, was that almost like something that you had to do? Because it seems like it was a rite of passage that, you know what, I don't care if it was 2, 3, 4, 5 million people. People had to be there. Talk about why was it so important for you to be at that parade and be a part of that celebration?
Because I wanted to feel the love of my fan base. I wanted to feel and be in there with the million crowd. And I didn't care about danger or anything. I mean, there was times where I got a little nervous, but now I was like, you know what? I love this team. This is the only time, you know, that, you know, I'm getting to celebrate my favorite team as champions now. And it's 1 million people here. And you had people on top of stores. You had people on the side of buildings up. I'm like, how they get up there? You know what I'm saying? And then it was just, and it was no drama.
Yes.
Everybody was, it was like that was my brother, that's my sister that had on Knicks jerseys and hats, and everyone was talking and being nice to each other. I couldn't believe it, man.
It was something. When you look at everything, it just seems like this run was so monumental. I think it did something for the city. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I've never known for New York, for NBA Finals, to have so many watch parties. I've never seen people wear so much Knick paraphernalia that it's ridiculous. Like I couldn't believe it.
Talk 1 million plus people, man. And tell me, have you ever seen any team in the whole NBA win 12, 13 games straight in the postseason? Have you ever seen that before? No, you haven't.
Golden State 115, I think, when they.
Oh, it was okay, yeah, go GS. But for New York,
yes, no.
This was big. And Jalen Brunson had people eating crow, man.
Yes. I wanted to ask you about that because, you know, Mitch Lawrence, longtime sports writer for New York, and Mitch said something the other day. Him and I were talking, and he said, you know what? You can't really put Jalen Brunson at the top of the heap, you know, as the greatest Knick ever, because again, Willis Reed and what he had to do
against
Patrick as well, you know what I'm saying? And Willis going against Wilt Chamberlain, going against Bill Russell to win that championship. He's in that sort of list, but I don't know if you can't. I don't know if you can't get this guy. You gotta give him a statue or something. Do you
He
think
deserves it, man? It's been 53 years, man.
Yes.
That's the thing. That's the key, bro.
Yes.
Like, we've been down 53 years. That's a long time.
Yes.
You understand? So it's like, here comes this roster, and they win it. And everyone's in shock. We're all with our jaw down here. Like, yo, did we just win the chip, man? I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me go home and think about it. I swear, this is how we were acting.
You know, if you hear the word NBA champions, New York Knicks,
Cry.
It's still foreign to me. Like, you know, our good friend BJ Armstrong. BJ, shout out to BJ.
Shout out BJ. That's my boy.
He's with the Sacramento Kings. And I remember when the finals matchup was set.
Yeah.
I told BJ, I said, BJ, I think they got a shot. He said, got a shot. He told me, he said, gee, they got a shot. They got a shot.
Yep.
How much did it help for the fan base, Pete, that including yourself, more important, that they won game one? How much did that really help?
It helped a lot because you always have to draw first blood. This is the postseason. You gotta draw first blood, man. And when you draw first blood, you start getting confident. Then they went ahead and won game 2 in San Antonio. And you know what? I saw that the NBA did not want to sweep on this team.
You're not supposed to say that. That's the dirty little secret. You know that's the dirty little secret.
Well, let me take it back. But anyway, you know, game 3 happened and the jinx came, and you know, we moved on from that. Game 4, we came back from 29 points. That said, oh, we winning this. Because if a team can do that, we talk 29 points, bro. They was up 29. They was up 30, actually.
Yes. It was ugly.
And I was getting really, you know how you feel when your favorite team is losing and you feel that messed up feeling. And I went to sleep.
So I didn't feel bad that I turned the TV off.
No,
I went home. And then I had a conversation with my oldest son, shout out to Noah, and Noah says, Dad, in the midst of our conversation, they're down 4. And I said, well, wait a minute. I think he's going to say, I asked him, I said, how much time left now? I'm thinking he's going to say, oh, it's like 20 seconds. I'm like, yeah. He said, it's 2 minutes left in the game. I said, I got to go. I couldn't believe it.
My boy called me and said, Pete, wake the F up, man. Wake up, man. We down 3. I said, stop lying. He said, turn on your TV, man. And I turned the TV on and I was like, yo, what the
But when Josh Hart blew that wide open layup,
he felt that. He felt that himself. He knows we felt that.
And then gave up. He didn't box out, and then Stephon Castle goes get the rebound, goes up and gets fouled. I said, wait a minute. In a span of maybe 30, even 30 seconds, he went from pretty much being a person that was taking a lot of blame for those miscues to now being on the side for a team 3-1 and having an opportunity. You know,
the jitterbug was outside. The people, you know, here we are. We're this close. And the jitterbug showed up. That's why Hart missed that. But then Jalen, he's a chess player too, you know. And he's like probably told OG, yo, just be somewhere near the basket because I'm gonna shoot the 3, and I need you to. Bro,
it was time. It was time.
Game 4 was amazing.
Yeah. When you look at it now, and you've always supported New York sports, and unbelievable follow on Instagram, and just really, again, how you're so in tune. See this happen. Does that put more pressure for the New York Jets?
You know what? I don't want. I'm not sweating being the favorite next year, man. We won.
No, you can't. See, that's the thing. It's like we waited so long. Why not be greedy? Why not? Why not be greedy?
No, I'm saying if we get another one, so be it. But we still soaking this one in, man.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
understand what I'm saying? This one is still soaking in. It's like I believe it now, but now it's like, wow. I wake up every day like, yo, we won.
Wow, wow, wow. From a music standpoint, I want to throw this in and just ask you this. We've had an amazing run on music, and
Hmm.
shout out to you and the project with Common and
Thank you.
the brother right now that you on. I guess you guys were on tour.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes,
Uh,
Amir. Peace,
yeah,
beloved. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
unbelievable project, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And I think I shared with you, myself, Rick Mahorn, and
Yep. I
B.
used to go to Rick Club, man.
Oh, they don't. He gonna see this.
In the
He gonna be
90s, in
like
the
this.
90s, in the
Hey,
90s, I used to go to Rick Club.
yo, he gonna be like this. I've heard so much about this club
It
down
was
in South Jersey.
crazy. His club was so dope. It was like everyone was going there. That's where I met a couple of players in there, and it was a great look, And I think I was supposed to DJ there one time,
Wow, wow.
but I just never followed up because I was so like running around and at that time.
And the thing about it is we all put music in a group text. We call it morning nourishment and putting hip hop and stuff that's in there. But it's been an amazing run from obviously what Nas was able to do with the various projects from De La Soul to Mobb Deep.
Yes.
Smith and Wesson putting out an amazing project. Your thoughts on just this run that we've had this year
Hmm.
of artists that what I'm saying were connected to New York in a capacity in a space outside of obviously Common, but just really hip hop as a whole. Getting back to this sort of its origins, what have been your thoughts on this whole year of just phenomenal projects being put out?
I felt like after the Common project, I had this energy,
Mm,
and I got with De La Soul and I did like 4 songs on their new album.
congrats.
And yeah, thank you, man. And I felt like we can remedy this culture,
Mm,
with
mhm,
the stand up men that are still around. That's you know
mhm,
willing to sacrifice, not nothing really detrimental, but just maybe their time to
mhm,
dedication to remolding and reshaping the game.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
That takes more than one man to do. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so, when I worked with De La Soul, and it felt really good because and it was like bittersweet because Dave is gone. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Rest in
And
peace.
so, but the music was inspirational, and it was hard to do a song I did called A Different World. I actually get emotional every time I hear it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because of the lyrics and what Paz said on it, and just remembering and having the memories of me and Dave because we both like the Hulk. You know what I'm saying? We had that in common, and hip hop, and
Right.
so it was a great. I felt like I did a good job. And I think Dave, if he was still around, he would say the same.
You did more than a good job, my brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Incredible, incredible job.
Thank you.
On this run, what do you think and what do you have on the horizons that you can sort of again give us because I'm still waiting for that Greenhaven project. Rick and BJ and I like
Yes,
this, we
yes.
still wait.
We should still actually, getting talks about that
Mm,
because
mm,
I have a new situation going on where I'm working on music in my back in my homeland, Jamaica.
beautiful,
So,
beautiful, beautiful,
yep.
beautiful.
So, but as far as the music and everything, man, like it's a part of my life and it's a part of my inspiration. I've
Mhm,
been inspired. I've been incredibly inspired by music over the years. I mean, James Brown's my favorite, soul funk singer of all time
yes.
over everyone. But you have, like the groups like Kool and the Gang, Brass Construction, all that molded and shaped me into who I am now. And for hip hop in 2026, I feel it's all gonna come back to the forefront once again.
So boom bap, you think will be back? New York
Of
sound
course.
will be back.
And vinyl will be back.
Hmm.
You
Whoa,
know, I
whoa.
mean, you have pure hearts in music that want to see the same, want to feel that same vintage feeling we used to have putting records out, making music. Even like doing records with other artists. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Producing them, or whether you jumping on a song with them, all that stuff is missed as
Hmm.
far as I'm concerned. I miss how much friendlier hip hop was back in the '90s and the '80s, and so a lot has happened since then. So we lost people. We lost Big E. We lost Freaky Ty. We lost Heavy
Fire,
D.
my
You
man,
know,
our man.
Prodigy. Guru. We lost a lot. Big L.
Yeah,
We lost a lot of people. So then it it can mess with the mental.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It brings back, bad memories of loved ones that think about their loved ones when someone beloved in music passes away. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
And so, I just want to put the fun back in it. I can't speak for other men
Hmm.
or women, but I can speak for myself and say what I'm going to contribute from this point on to make hip hop what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. How do you keep your ear sharp, right? Like when I look at you, and one of the things, obviously, DJ Premier and other incredible beat makers that are out there, and I've
Yeah.
often wondered, how do you,
Mhm.
because like in basketball, you have a talent, you have a gift that separates you from everyone else. How do you keep that sharp, especially in this day and age where the sound has changed? How do
Yeah.
you keep your sound sharp and ears sharp, that it'll still resonate with people? Because again, it's a different era and stuff, and then sometimes it's so challenging from artists from yesteryear to try to make sure they connect with this era of music, and sometimes they step out of their comfort zone, which is not a bad thing, but it's a
Yeah.
big risk because
Yeah.
the fans have been so accustomed to that
Hmm.
sound. How do
Well,
you
it
stay?
it's it takes an incredibly amount of patience and time, and then a lot of listening,
Mm,
because I listen even if I don't like something, I'm listening to it, and I'm trying to get a feel on the audience, a pulse, and that's how I keep my ears sharp and how I keep myself together as far as staying relevant.
mhm,
And to me, that's one of the most important things, because I'm saying, as I'm listening to like a Cardi B record, or from Lil Kim, or anybody, any record, any
mhm,
hip hop record, I'm thinking of it in my way, and how would it sound if I did something
mhm.
to this? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And so that's how I'm always approaching music when I'm working with people, and I feel like like culture wise, it's still there for us for the taking. And me, it's very important for me to stay focused on what this is in 2026. You
Mm,
know, it has its highs, it has its lows, it has its mids, but I'm willing to take it all on, right, and have it, in a way where people can appreciate it, and it's healing to your soul.
mm, mm, mm.
You feel me? Because
Yeah,
that's what I'm really here to do. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
No, and that's a gift, man, and an incredible skill and stuff.
Yes.
Do you see that in the future? I know a lot of fans will be clamoring, and I'm
Yeah.
quite certain that fans have asked you,
Yeah.
obviously, would those fences be mended? And I'm not going to get into all of that other stuff, but really get back to what, again, the things and stuff, what you were a part of before. And,
Yeah.
you and I have been texting stuff about, being back in possibly good graces and stuff. And you talk about, obviously, what I'm saying, healing and mending fences and stuff. Do you think those fences will possibly be mended somewhere down
You, you you know what? Anything's possible,
the line?
but my thing is there's a lot of disturbance
Mm,
up here
mm,
mentally. And so people are affected.
mm,
And so in order for things to mend properly, you have to seek help.
Mm.
That's I mean, so they say when you past a certain age, that is basically too late if you're too set in your ways,
Yeah. Yeah.
and sometimes for some of us that can be the case. So I can't say that, I can't say
Right.
that anything will be fixed
Right.
overnight or even like, I can't say that. But what I can say is that hip hop does bring people together,
Mm.
the
Yes.
music, and depending on, what kind of music we're doing, you know, because to me, I like to be unified. I like it, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
if it's not right for me, then I'm gonna exit. You
Right.
feel me?
Right.
And so, and but I'm just here, and I want people to know that that I love the culture. I love hip hop. Like I love it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm gonna always be here, like, cause you can't put an age on music or
Yes.
producers who make dope music, who stay sharp at it,
Yes.
who won't sound outdated, who knows how to, you know, mingle in with the younger generation.
Right. 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 Yeah. I mean, hip hop is the only culture that I guess people try to put a sort of timestamp, kind of reminiscent of, in sports, right? You're at
Yep.
this age, you can't do this no more. But the skill and the quality, it still resonate. Like, look, dope music is dope music.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
You have made music that transcends generations, and
Thank you.
obviously that is never going to change. And
Yeah, man.
uh,
I mean, it starts also, I forgot to say that if you don't have passion
mhm,
to want to see a better day, then it won't work out for you. If you're in it just for the materialism and the women then then I can say that's short lived.
mhm.
But
What?
if you can show God that you're ambitious
Uh-huh.
and you're passionate, things blossom and bloom, man.
Right. When you look at, obviously you're so connected to the Knicks, Jets,
Hmm.
Giants, Yankees, Mets, all of them.
Yes,
What
sir.
would it take for
Islanders too, and the Rangers.
Islanders, the Ravens? Yeah, we ain't leaving nobody out. You know what I'm saying? Red Bulls and FC
You- New York, baby.
New York. What
Yep.
would it take for Pete Rock to produce a dope track for another sports, let's say another sports team? What would it take?
Gotta
Outside,
be the Knicks. Gotta be the Knicks, man.
oh, come on, come on.
Gotta be the
Because
Knicks,
you
man.
know what?
Oh, okay. You know what? Okay. Mm, you saying what other team
I'm just throwing a team out there, like there's a team in Sacramento,
mm,
Sacramento Kings. What would it take?
I'm trying to maybe more like East Coast.
I'm the Sacramento Kings. You know what I'm saying?
I can't help it, man. I'm East Coast, bro. Like, what I'm
Even if
saying?
the check is
But
in
BJ,
fall.
I see BJ's my man, so I would definitely, what I'm saying? I would definitely probably think about doing something like that. But I'm so dedicated and loyal to my Knicks, man. You know what I'm saying?
It means a lot.
Yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to say other teams because I love my team so much.
And you know what? Rightfully so. And before I let you get on out and closing out,
Hmm.
obviously, if the Knicks and management came to you and said, Pete Rock, what could we do to make, obviously, the next thing that comes up? We had the parade, we had the ceremony at City Hall, which was unbelievable.
Get me back in MSG to be the DJ like I
Mm,
was doing before. And people was loving seeing me there. You know what
mm,
I'm saying?
mhm.
So, I know it's a lot. There's some things off the record I can talk to you about, but
Right, right, right. We're not going to do that. We're not going to
nah,
deal with
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
obviously, that would make it better. But also bringing you in there on ring night, the
Exactly,
first night,
exactly, exactly.
ring night, and being there and
Yep.
about that. But
and that's how I got to meet the players, and it was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? When
well,
Phil Jackson was here, I was prevalent in MSG.
wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
You
Mhm.
paid your dues, my brother. And
Yes, sir.
I gotta say this, man. You know what? From myself being a former ball boy for the New York Knicks and seeing those times and struggling, I remember when Spike was coming by
Ooh,
asking us
it's
t-shirts.
over.
Look, she
It's
gotta have it
over.
to be able to do that. I'm so happy for you,
Thank you.
among other, you know what I'm saying, loyal, diehard Knick fans.
It
And
meant a lot to us, man.
yes, and it happened in our lifetime. That is the thing where I think I was saying to a lot of people, I didn't know if this would happen in our
I
life.
got to see it.
Yes, got to see it.
We got to see it.
Yes, and we could possibly see it again because
Could possibly run it back. Don't get rid of nobody. Keep that same squad, man. And maybe add a few little, sprinkles. That's the, you know what I'm saying?
But listen, P Rock, man, listen,
Yeah,
enjoy
bro.
all that what the summer has. I really appreciate you, my brother, for taking
Thank
time
you.
out.
Thank
And
you.
continue blessings to you and the family.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to other bigger and better projects. And you know what, man?
Yeah, man. We'll talk soon.
Yes,
We'll
indeed.
talk soon.
Knicks champs. The Knicks are champions. And you know what? That is a beautiful thing.
It is. It really
Anytime,
is.
baby.
Thank you so much, my boy.
Anytime.
All right, peace.
P Rock.
Peace. Love, baby.
Appreciate it.
All right, boss.
Later. Oh my goodness, great to have Pete Rock on there with me and stuff. And you know what? I want to take this time out because normally I check out once the interviews are over, but I thought it was really important that I spend some time on the draft. And one of the things about the draft thus far, and look, everything went true to form. I'm not going to say, Dallas might have reached. And, as much as we always want to predict and project guys to be stars, we also have to deal with the reality that some guys, in all likelihood, will struggle making the adjustment. As much as we sit back and think college basketball and NBA are very similar, they are totally different. It's a different ball game, different expectations. So the adjustment process will be somewhat challenging for some of these players. I don't know where, again, Duke has had a run. Obviously, Paolo Banchero's unbelievable. But I'm looking at a guy in this draft that I have some question marks, and I hope I'm wrong. That I look at Cameron Boozer, and him in Memphis, where they are, I'm just questioning. The expectation to be drafted that high to come in. You're expected to be an impact player. Yes, you were college player of the year. They've still got some pieces around, but how does he fit in? And the expectation is you got to hit the ground running. And I just wonder if, Cam Boozer will be able to fit there. That is just the biggest question. I look at, the Clippers, and Clippers had to make that move for Keaton Wagler or get a big guard like Michael Brown if Wagler wasn't on the board, because you just traded for Darius Garland. And Darius Garland, obviously he's making a ton of money as the extension kicks in, and I'm happy for him. But you got to have a big guard to play along with Garland. So you couldn't really go with Acuff and Garland, because that's obviously reminiscent of what Cleveland had, and we really didn't see a lot of success there. But congratulations to all the young men who have gotten drafted, and now the journey begins, right? You will see highs and lows, the players getting their feet wet, playing in the rookie summer league. Many of them will probably play about 2 games, if that, and then they will basically have it shut down until training camp. So be really curious to see. This draft class is loaded. But like I said before, as much as we want to focus on obviously these players being great players and having a ton of success, there will be some guys, unfortunately, will struggle with their new teams. and really have to make adjustments. So jury's still out. Grading, guys, I think it takes time, really, at that. Speaking about time, I think it was time, and kudos to the Milwaukee Bucks deciding that, hey, the time had come for them to move on from Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I think congratulations to both parties. Look, it's always great when you can have one of your own that basically you nurture, develop, and see him evolve to the point where he becomes a superstar, a league-wide player that ultimately leads your franchise to a championship. When I look at the Milwaukee Bucks, I got to say the governors for that team, they did everything possible to surround Giannis with talent to really support in the areas of his deficiencies. And granted, look, he was not a complete player. Obviously those things are kind of an anomaly, right? Those things are very complete, anomaly. To be a closer is a set skill. Not everybody has that ability to be a closer. But Milwaukee did their due diligence, putting pieces around Giannis to be able to help support and help him. And I'll go back and say maybe the beginning of the end was the decision to go after Damian Lillard. And that trade didn't work out, and it's no fault of anybody's. You look at that franchise, they made the decision. That's what you needed, to bring in a guy that would be the closer so that now you could put the ball in their hands at the end of games. And obviously you don't have to worry about Giannis being a guy that in that space that wasn't really comfortable for him. But they exhausted all opportunities. Damian got hurt. They stretched his contract. We know the rest is history. And at that point, when you look at the franchise and the amount of money that Giannis was making, that's an enormous amount of money for a team that is really struggling to get out of the play-in tournament, let alone the first round. So now he gets a chance to go to Miami. Miami's been a franchise that just been starved to replace a player of the magnitude of maybe LeBron James. Yeah, Jimmy Butler was there, but Jimmy Butler was clearly a notch or so below a guy like LeBron James. And that's not a knock on Butler, but now you bring in a guy that is a sort of franchise player. But the challenge that will present itself is now filling out that roster and the pieces around guys like Bam Adebayo as well as Giannis Antetokounmpo. Some of the pieces that they have on paper right now, it just be a question. So my biggest question will be, are the Miami Heat any closer to being an NBA champion? I don't think so. Are they any closer to competing in the Eastern Conference? I don't think so. Because still, in all, you got to have guys that are positioned to be able to close and knock down shots. They lost a lot. You got to get perimeter players. And with the Knicks, they're still going to be there, one of the top tier teams in that Eastern Conference. Obviously, we still got to see what free agency plays out. But when I look at a team like Boston, it's still going to be there. I look at Detroit, still going to be there. Cleveland can figure some things out. And there's going to be a mystery team. It might be Orlando. Who knows? But when I look at this Miami Heat team, it's good to sell tickets. But in terms of long-term, how much success, that remains to be seen. So coaching, also some coaching news and the coaching hires that really, really stood out. And I think the NBA really needs to take a step back and look and speak with the newest governor for the Portland Trailblazers. Michael Nori, longtime assistant coach, signed a deal to become the newest head coach for the Portland Trailblazers. Now, going into this situation, and obviously Portland's in the Pacific Northwest or the far, Pacific Northwest, and it really wasn't that big of a story because obviously they weren't a playoff team, right? Or better yet, they, was a team that was competing. I believe they made the playoffs or not, but really wasn't a championship contending team, right? When you looked at them, it was not a team. In fact, they were a playoff team, and my apologies. But they weren't a team that you thought that they were ready to contend. And clearly, by them going out 4-1 to the Spurs early on, it got lost in the sauce that you had a guy that was there and their head coach. And yet, the decision to be in a space where they didn't want to re-sign him, or better yet, the offer to sign him was, a contract, was really, really something that was unacceptable. And, management has been very, very cheap in terms of just their decision to bring in a coach that would be a guy that, again, you can build around, because clearly, look, Thiago Splitter was there, and obviously with the success he had, he was there on an interim basis because of the situation that transpired with, Chauncey Billups. Thiago Splitter did a great job getting that team to the NBA playoffs. They lost 4-1. I had forgotten that they were even in the playoffs. But nevertheless, he lands in Chicago. And basically, there was talks that the governor for the Portland Trailblazers made it known that he was not interested in paying a coach more than $1 million. It was fact. And I mean, it was something that obviously was kind of swept under the rug because we had the excitement of the playoffs. We talked about the Knicks winning the championship. But now Michael Nori takes that job, and the contract details are as follows. He only has 1 year guaranteed, and it's already been discussed that he will get incentives. He has an incentive-laden contract, meaning that as well as the team will do, he has an opportunity to make money. Now, on the surface, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. This is wrong. However, if this was something that was maybe 10, 15 years ago, it's actually is a brilliant move, because now you force coaches to really dive deep into their craft and try to perfect it, so that now, instead of having guys making $4, $5, $6, $7 million a year, you have those elite coaches, the upper echelon of coaches, and then you have a tier system set up. But now, obviously, because everybody's getting paid in terms of coaches, especially if you're, on a 5-year deal, you have 3 years guaranteed, whatever. He has 1 year guaranteed, so it's not a good look. There was reports that during the course of the playoffs, he wasn't flying out injured players and all this other stuff. He wasn't flying them out, wasn't paying for hotels, all the things. And it's not just a good look for the league as a whole. And I'd be very curious if the other governors from the other teams really collectively get together and make sure they explain to the newest owner of the Portland Trailblazers, the governor, of the certain requirements and demands that are expected being a governor of an NBA franchise. And then on the flip side of that, kudos to Dusty May, former Michigan head coach, national champions. He is taking over now and the newest head coach for the Dallas Mavericks. And, this is the unique thing about with this coaching process, especially when you gather guys from the college ranks. Look, you look at Dusty, I'm happy for him. Never mad at anybody going to get their money. And I think it works out well from the standpoint of, if he doesn't have success in the NBA, right? Hopefully he does. But let's just say, God forbid, it doesn't work out. He's going to make a lot of money in the NBA coaching, because that's what we talked about. Now, in this era, all coaches, proven or unproven, make top dollar. But at the same time, if he doesn't have success, he can always go back to college. And here's the biggest thing. He's going to walk right back into a top-tier major head coaching job, a major college. Rick Pitino pretty much was one of the last guys to do it that I can recall, where he asked for $50 million, an enormous amount of money, to coach the Boston Celtics. Didn't work out there. He goes back. He had left Kentucky, built that program up, goes to the NBA, gets the money, and then just waited and had his pickings. Ends up going to the University of Louisville. Same thing with John Calipari. Struggled in the league, obviously went UMass and then goes to the New Jersey Nets back then, but then was able to go back to college, goes to Memphis, has a ton of success, and from Memphis, he goes right into Kentucky. But the unique thing about that is, as you see number one over there, Penny Hardaway's jersey, Florida Atlantic beat in their first game of the NCAA tournament on their way to the Final Four, And it was a little controversy where it was a timeout being called by a Memphis player. It wasn't granted. They go on to beat the Memphis Tigers, and the rest was history. If Memphis would have won that game, would Dusty May actually become the head coach for the Dallas Mavericks? So a lot of could have, would have, should have. But the interesting thing is, I think it works out well, you know. And Brad Stevens perhaps was the last guy to go from the coaching ranks to college and then go to the pros. And then obviously he stayed in the pros and went upstairs into the front office. He also had Billy Donovan do the same thing. But the beauty of this is these guys have so much success in college, which attracts the NBA franchises, that if it ever falters, they could always go back down to college. And they're not going to walk into an institution that is Little Sisters of the Poor. They're going to go into a high-profile job and will walk back in there and make even more money. So that is my thoughts on it. You know, putting a capper and a bow on an unbelievable run for the basketball, and obviously draft stuff is still going on and stuff. Be sure to make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram at G Brown Sports, as well as on TikTok, Beeline Sports. That's BLINE Sports, as well as on X, the original Gerald Brown. Basketball has given us an amazing run, and no disrespect to the lovely, lovely ladies of the WNBA. We still got amazing basketball that we definitely need to focus in and support them. But this NBA run has been unbelievable. It's been phenomenal that it has offered us amazing basketball. And now the NBA sets itself up going into Summer League with a lot of stars of tomorrow and a lot of possible hidden gems that will walk in and have the opportunity to carry the league. And my only concern and hope is that, you know what, for the second year in a row, the NBA is able to capitalize on the playoff success going into next year and be able to ride that wave throughout the course of the regular season. Yes, that requires the players to participate and play competitively in the All-Star game. But nevertheless, it's been a great, great NBA season. Draft, Summer League, can't wait. Unbelievable. And now we're going to switch the page here at the Bottom Line Sports Show and get ready for Major League Baseball. Once you get around the All-Star break, now it's time to focus on the boys of summer and really see exactly who, what, when, where, and why are the real deal. That about wraps up the show. Great job. NBA, salute you. NBA, great job. Like to thank Pete Rock, legendary Pete Rock, joining me, and an amazing time. You know, these stories definitely are being captured in terms of the Knicks winning the championship, and it's going to go down in history to where you were. Where were you when the Knicks won and broke the 53-year drought? Like to thank Pete Rock once again. Like to thank you for checking out the show. And don't forget, Bottom Line Sports Show is here. Neither rain nor sleet nor snow will ever stop the Bottom Line Sports Show. Peace.